champagne rosé. It's my game. Please fill my cup, champagne rosé. It's my name. Please drink me up, champagne rosé. What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, Gran Jefe. Get ready for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. Joined as always by my co-host, OG Rowe. How you doing, bro?
Oh, man, it's a great day. The sun is shining again today in Washington. What's going on with this weather, man? I'm loving it.
Hey, it's good out here in sunny El Paso, too. We got a big show for you guys today. We got the interview with Washington Redskins running back Chris Thompson coming up right after this A block. So without further ado, man, let's just go ahead and kick this show off. Anthony Davis, the New Orleans Pelicans played last night. They played the intro video, the hype video that they have. Anthony Davis was not in that. They took him completely out of it. I think maybe he was in there once. He passed the ball to Julius Randle. That was it. Do you think that the pettiness, do you think this is going to hurt New Orleans' chance to get Anthony Davis going anywhere but LA, or do you think this is going to increase their chances?
Man, this right here is the best thing ever. I love when people are petty. I love when, organizations are petty. This is good. I think this is great for basketball. You know, it stirs the pot just a little bit for us. And that hype video, and they taking Anthony Davis out of it? Dude, that's dope. I watched the New Orleans Pelicans play the other night. They played, I want to say they played the OKC Thunder. And the way they went they played the Rockets. I'm sorry. They played the Rockets. And they beat a James Harden team without Anthony Davis. I think that right there was an accomplishment because, that Rockets team was hot going into that game. And for them to beat them without their superstar Anthony Davis, I believe that was big for New Orleans. I believe they wanted to set a statement in that game, beat the Rockets without Anthony Davis. But for me, this pettiness, it goes nowhere for them. They already lost their superstar to LeBron, and this is what you do after that. You got to be petty, man. You got to do something.
Yeah, I agree. But I think this is going to hurt them. I think they had all of the leverage. I think they had all of the leverage in this situation until being petty, because now you're going to force Anthony Davis and his camp to say, "Now I only want to go to the Lakers." When if you don't be the emotional person in this situation, trying to muddy the waters. I mean, think about it. If you don't get this guy off, you still have to play with him for the rest of the season. We're talking about 30 to 40 games on this year. And now you got a guy that you took out of the promo video or the hype video. And how is that going to sit well with him? Does Anthony Davis then say, you know what? This hand injury that I got, man, I can't play with it. Is not quite ready yet. And cause him to sit out. Now, Dale Demps said that they're trying to make a push for the playoffs. They're trying to get him back on the court to make a push for the playoffs. But I think that relationship is pretty much salvaged. I think that's done now. But as promised, we have Washington Redskins running back Chris Thompson on the line with us. Thank you for joining the show. Really appreciate it. How you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. Let's get right into it, man. I'm gonna ease you off in here first, before I start getting to the good stuff. But how's the health? I know this year you've been you was pretty banged up coming from off the ankle from the year prior. Is that how's the rehab going?
It's good. I still got a little ways to go. A lot of people don't know I literally played hurt this whole the whole season. So it's still a process. It's one of those things that it really takes like a year and a half for me to get completely healthy. So I'll say probably around April or May is when I really start feeling good again. But so far since I've been able to take this break, be off my ankle for, I guess a month now, it's been feeling way better.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh yeah, and especially with injuries, and people think you guys in the NFL, you guys are like the Terminator.
Yeah.
They expect you guys to be back on the field right then, right there. It takes time. It's a maturation process, and man, I respect you guys so much. I respect you guys grind, your hustle, because going out there every Sunday and taking punishment the way you guys take punishment, man. I know it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, man, it ain't no it ain't no easy task, trust me, especially like with this ankle injury I had. This is the first time really dealing with a broken bone in my lower body, and it was tough, man. Just like thinking about not getting hit in my ankle every single time I run the ball, every time I catch a pass, because I'm still in pain out there running around. It's one of them things, man. We're just kind of almost trained to fight through injuries. If you played any type of sports, no matter what level, you're just like pretty much trained mentally to try to fight through. And that's you know, that's what they call like, oh, he's a real tough guy. And sometimes like, in some situations, it really don't work out as well, because you don't need to be a tough guy and fight through certain things. But I'm just glad I was able to, finish the season. But I wasn't the guy that I was 2 years ago, and that's fine. But this off season, I'm gonna be grinding to make sure I get back there.
And that was one of the questions that I was going to ask. I was going to ask a team question first, but since you went there, what is Chris Thompson's personal goal for the 2019 season? I mean, the 2017 or 2016, 2017 season, I think was the best year by far of the year that you broke your ankle. Leading the team in rushing touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. Catching off the chart. What is Chris Thompson's personal goal for 2019?
Number one for me is hopefully is making the playoffs. Like I got one taste of that in 15, and I think it was the best feeling that I've had in a while. And we played ball together, back in high school. Winning that state championship together was a wonderful feeling. But like being division champs, like beating the Eagles at home, and then having a home game, a playoff home game in the first round, like that felt.
And which you played well in.
Yeah, and played really good in it. Like it just felt good. The atmosphere was different. The atmosphere was that like Friday night high school atmosphere. It's that atmosphere that you don't even get that feel in college. Like it was just different. So that's like my number one goal. And then after that, I just want to get back to that 2016, 2017 guy that I was. Because there's a lot of people out there like, oh, that year was just a fluke year. And, he just happened to have a good year, but he won't have that type of year again. And coming off the injury, I mean, obviously I didn't, I didn't get the numbers that I did before the previous year, but that's my goal, is just to really fight back to get to being that person and making that impact for myself. And, I just want to continue to make a name for myself and just gain some respect in this league. Like I feel like that's one of the bigger things is, outside of guys just wanting to make money and stuff, it's like they want the respect of their peers. And for me, like after games, when I go talk to guys that I played with in college and stuff or played against the last couple years, and they're like, man, we game planned a lot to stop you. Like that, to me, that does something for me. It makes me feel like I made an impact, in this league in the 6 years that I've been playing. So that's kind of really my goals. I guess it's not anything big. I definitely want to make a Pro Bowl. I want that behind my name as well. I want to get that feeling. I really want the feeling of being nominated to be in the Pro Bowl, but not being able to go because I'm in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
like that's
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 the
what I want
ultimate goal.
Yes,
Yes, sir. And, so you're playing next to a legend, Adrian Peterson.
Yep.
What is that like, man?
It's crazy, man. Like my first thought was like, I got a future Hall of Famer in here in the running back room with me, and I was the older guy in the room all of the previous year and leading up to, through training camp and stuff before it got there. And, I didn't know how to approach it and how he would be, because I feel like as a guy that knows, like, when you retire that you're going to be a Hall of Famer, it's not much that you can say to him as far as a coach to coach him up, or as a player to try to teach him what our schemes and stuff are here. But when he came in, it shocked me because he was totally different than what I thought he was. And I mean, he's a great dude, probably one of the best human beings I think I ever met in my life. And he's a really good dude. And it's also just like a good feeling to say, like, I got to play with Adrian Peterson, because a lot of guys that are running backs like to just be in a room with a guy like that, or say I was his teammate. Like, for me, the ultimate number one would have been like, oh, I played with Reggie Bush. Like, that would have been my.
Of course.
Like, look at Adrian Peterson that way, and I do too, because I mean, consistent level, one of the best to ever do it. But it was a great feeling to play with him this past year, and just kind of learn little small things like what to do on and off the field, how he stayed healthy all these years, and then came back from that 6 months later and had a dominant year. Just learning those little things from him. I think going on, down the line in my career really helped me out.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You
playing with a guy like AP is crazy.
You can't be playing with a guy like AP. That is awesome. And I noticed you said, playing with Reggie Bush would have been like one of your top ones. Was Reggie Bush one of your inspirations, growing up? Was he one of the people that inspired you, throughout football?
Yeah, he was. Reggie was my number one, man. Him and LaDainian Tomlinson, my two favorite running backs of all time. I had one. I've never been a big guy on like meeting, like, I guess, celebrities or famous people and really like acting like a fan. I'm just like, I kind of think like, okay, that's just another regular person. They just got a little more money, whatever, a little more followers, all that kind of good stuff. But I met Reggie Bush one time, and that was the first time I was like ever a fan and like nervous to even speak to him. And he probably don't even remember. He probably don't remember seeing me, but we had this little event, this NFLPA event that we had to do, and we were all like together for a couple days, like in Mexico, and we happened to be going out one night, and he was sitting behind me in like a little van or whatever, and he like tapped me on my shoulder, was trying to get me to like loosen up and talk to people, but I couldn't say anything because it was like, dang, like I'm really in here with Reggie Bush right now. And I was super nervous, and like my girl was like, what is wrong with you? I was like Reggie Bush, like really sitting behind.
People don't know the Reggie Bush infatuation that you have, honestly.
Yeah,
like growing up as kids, like you don't really understand the Reggie Bush infatuation. The Reggie Bush fandom is crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like that was like just meeting him and being able to speak to him, and EJ Manuel was the guy that like formally introduced us to each other, because EJ played with him in Buffalo. But that was like, to me, that was like a very cool experience. Just speaking to him and just being around him for the 30 minutes to an hour I was with him, like that was cool to me. And that's like I said before, that's my number one.
So let me ask you this, and it's about your role in the offense. Do you feel that you're underutilized in the offense?
Um, I think this year, I feel like Jay, Coach Gruden, like he's been around me long enough that he knows me, and I think he knew like this year as far as like I was still recovering. I think he knew that, and I think that was part of the reason why I didn't, I guess, play as much. Well, not really play, run the ball as much, really.
Yeah, because that was my question. Like, because it seemed like you were on a pitch count, or
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. It was. I think he kind of knew that, but I think it was also, if you look at the year before, we had a couple injuries with some running backs, and then the production wasn't fully there sometimes. So I ended up starting against like the 49ers and stuff,
yep,
and things like that. And I think I had such a hot hand. It was like I can't not let you get these reps. I can't sit you on the side. And it's funny that you asked that, because after the 49ers game, when we played them, and I ended up having a good game, my only start that I've ever had in my career. And Jay came to me. He was like, "Did you like that?" I was like, "Yeah, I love starting. Like, I got 20 something touches in the game."
yep.
And he said, "I'm glad you enjoyed it, but it's never gonna happen again." And just walked off. And I was like, "What?" And then it's like, I swear to you, like it's almost like Jay, he, I guess I mean a lot to him, and he knows what I mean to this offense. So it's like sometimes he thinks like I don't want to put him in this situation and something happens, and if he gets hurt, I don't know what to do. And he said that to the media and stuff. Like I gotta, he feels like he has to protect me, and that's something that I understand as well. But you know, my role has always been to, if I get 8 to 11 touches, I gotta have a big play or two big plays out of that. And I was able to do that in that 17 season, and had some crazy numbers. So I gotta get back to that, because I know and I understand, especially with Jay, I know how I'm gonna be used, and I know that like Jay is gonna do everything he can to protect me, but also try to give me as much as he possibly can. And it's one of them things like he talked to me a few times and said, like I get in the groove of the game, and sometimes I forget the plays that I even designed for you. And because they have like their own little playbook and stuff for me, and sometimes he's like, man, look, like I started getting in a groove, and he said, you need to come to me and just remind me, hey, we haven't ran this play, we need to do it. And I was like, all right, cool. And moving
So he
forward,
kind of gives you that free flowing
yeah.
of when you could. Okay,
So like moving forward, now I know, where me and him stand. So it's like as we get in games, it's, hey Jay, uh, we ain't ran this play. Do you think we can get to it? Things like that, because it's hard on the coach when also we ain't put ourselves in some good situations either. We were in second and long a lot, third and
yep,
long,
Right.
3rd and 10 plus a lot. So it 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 hurts me, on a personal level. It hurts me, because then most of my plays are between 3rd and 3 to 7 or whatever, and you can't get to that stuff when we're in 3rd and 10 plus.
yep.
And my catches were still the same. I just didn't have the production on my end. But I think next year he's gonna see that I'm a lot healthier, because he just asked me the other day, was I feeling, how was I feeling? So he know like I was basically playing hurt through the year. So it should be a way better year this year.
Oh yeah, we definitely look forward to seeing you this upcoming year. My thing is, man, what do you do to prepare yourself for for an NFL game? What do you do mentally, before you go out there on that field?
You mean as far as the physicality part of it?
Yeah, physically, mentally, what all goes into this one moment you go out there on that field? Those lights come on and you're ready to play. What do you do before that moment?
For me, it's the music I listen to. I just try to get myself in like this mode of like, uh, you the man. You might be the smallest man out there, but you the man. And that's kind of how I approach the game. And I remember my dad told me a while back, like the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So when I'm the smallest guy, unless we play against the Eagles and Darren Sproles is out there, I'm always the smallest guy on every team that we play against. So
That's why you love man.
I'm always thinking like, you know, I'm smaller and I got to use that to my advantage. And, and also it's just like, it's a dream, man. So I go out there and I just like to have fun with it. For me, my first couple years, I think I took it too serious. I was worried about losing my job at any given time and stuff like that. And I wasn't just playing free. In the last, I think like 3 years or so, like I really been having a mindset of playing free and realizing like, for one, this ain't gonna last too long, but while it's here, I just need to have fun with it. And then, I just go out there and I just have fun, man. I study the game enough to go out there. I know what I'm doing, so I'm never thinking too much on that part. It's just going out there and trusting my guys and just making things happen. And just having fun again, like I said. And I feel like that's been really one of the biggest things that's really helped change my game and just helped me enjoy like football even more. Like the older I've gotten, the more that I enjoy, playing the game now.
So you mentioned that the catches was still there, and what you had 55 targets this year, 41 catches, and for a running back, man, that's incredible. And as I look over your career outside of your rookie year, the year that you got hurt, the torn labrum, you've had over a 70% catch percent rate in every other year since then. Your highest being with your second year, I believe you was at like 82. Last year you was at 74.5. Who is the best pass catcher running back in the NFL?
Me.
Explain yourself, sir.
Talk your stuff. Talk your stuff. That's what I'm talking about. Talk your stuff.
I swear I'm gonna give myself props because I really believe in myself.
As you should.
Yeah,
as you should.
I really do. But on a serious note, though, like it's so many guys out there. Like I think if I want to talk about the number one when it comes to hands, or not the number one, but some of the top guys when it comes to having good hands, I got to put Christian McCaffrey and James White out there.
I think you're right up there at the top. You don't really catch many balls with your chest. That's normally stuff that running backs really don't really understand yet. To your point, Christian McCaffrey he's amazing catching the football.
Exactly, and that's what I look at, guys that's catching the ball with their hands, or they're catching these like crazy passes. Not only the ones that's Tom Brady or Cam throws perfect to him. It's all the other catches as well. But to me, that separates, because not everybody, because some guys just can't catch. But for the majority of guys, you could catch. Almost all of them can catch with their body. But I look at the guys that can catch with their hands, that are really
that's
good,
me. I like
real
that.
good route runners as well that can separate on guys, like whether it's a linebacker or a safety, whatever the case may be. And to me, like those guys are some of the I think I'll put them at the top. Two of the top guys. If I had to do a top five, I'll say they're two of the guys that's in there for me.
Oh yeah, with the emergence of the smaller running back in the league, running backs. You know, I'm a Chicago Bears fan. Running backs like Tyreek Cohen.
Oh,
Hold on,
he's a dog.
Let me hold on. Let me tell you about this guy right here, right? I met this dude in AIT, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy is from Virginia, Chris. He's from Virginia and he likes the Chicago Bears. How is that even possible?
How does that happen?
I'm not gonna root for the Redskins as much as I like you, Chris. I'm not gonna root for the Redskins. I can't do it.
All right, I get that, but I mean Baltimore right down the road too.
And Baltimore, it was my dad. He wanted to take me to a Baltimore game growing up, but we never got to it. Maybe if he had to take me to a game, I probably would have been a Baltimore fan. But I was stuck watching Bears football, and I fell in love with it. So that's what happened, Billy. Just get up off my case. But yeah, with the emergence of the smaller running backs like Tariq Cohen, yourself, you know. Now you guys have like a lot of room in offenses, like with these coaches showing what the little guys can do, man. You guys have the speed. You guys get lost in that backfield. This for you, I believe, man. With this resurgence of the little back, I think this is really going to go somewhere for you because I think you're 5'8", right?
Yep.
5'8"
on a good day.
On my good days.
On a good day, right? 5'8", and we know you're a beast on the field, but off that field, when those lights go off, man, when the training is done, what do you do to relax?
Oh man, I'm off the field, man. I'm a video game guy. That's where all my time goes to. I will ignore everybody in the world if I can find a good video game to play, and I will play it for days. I don't care. That's really my getaway. But then I guess it's also not, because at the same time my competitive nature doesn't turn off. So like if I'm playing 2K or Madden or something like that, and I won't stop playing it until I won't go to sleep until I end up with a win some kind of way possible. And that's just what I do. I game. I don't do anything else. I'm a homebody. I just game. I watch TV, watch TV, eat every now and then, and sleep. That's pretty much my life off the field.
Oh yeah, see, I'm the same way. I mean, I ain't got nothing really to do anyway. But usually I game, watch TV, eat. We kind of have the same schedule off the field. You know?
What is it? Hey, what else is it to do, right? Other than
exactly.
eating game. But I want to ask you a question. I'm sure you've seen it by now. Everybody has seen it. The Saints Ram ending. We had Commissioner Goodell come out yesterday and say we know that it was a blown call. Yada yada yada. My question is, as an athlete playing in the NFL currently, what, or does it even mean anything after the fact when you come out and say, yeah, we missed the call?
No, I think it means absolutely nothing. Like, it doesn't do anything but make you even more upset if you're that team that, you know, if you're the Saints or a fan of the Saints, like, you can't, there's nothing you could say at that point. I think I've seen it all over TV. I've seen Shannon Sharp talk about it, and he was like, bringing it back up constantly is gonna do nothing but make you mad. It's gonna do nothing but make you upset. It's gonna make people start doing more, look up these refs and stuff more, where I start seeing like 4 of the refs lived in LA and things like that. Like, people gonna start doing.
People came out with it quick, man.
Yeah, they're gonna start doing all kind of research to try to figure out why did he miss this call, and things like that. But it doesn't do anything but make everybody mad. And I feel like that call was super clear. Like, my nephew, that's one, could have seen that and said that's a bad call if he could talk. Like, it, like that was clearly a bad. It was clearly a bad call, but it's one of those things. Also, like, in that situation, in that type of game, I understand where people like you cannot miss that call because of how clear it was, but you also got to look at it like the refs, they miss calls all the time. Like, like I could look at some of our games and say, okay, I think we finished 8-8 this year. I don't even know what our record was. We finished
7-8,
somewhere not good, but we could have possibly won 2 more games if it wasn't for a bad call that was a pass interference against the Texans, and a few more plays in some other games. But that's part of it. I understand, like, you can't miss that in that game, though. But I think at that point, after it happened, immediately after you say, okay, the refs say, all right, we missed the call. And then after that, I think you got to leave it alone because you can't make them replay the game. That's never going to happen. So it's almost like this might be a terrible, terrible example. And I'm big on making terrible examples, but it's almost like being no. It's like being in a relationship and the man or the woman, maybe cheats or does something wrong, and you can't change it. Like the person decides to stay with you, I'm gonna stay with you, but you keep bringing it up. It's not gonna change anything.
Yep.
You can't go back. You can't go change that mistake you made. So it's like you admit to it, say I was wrong, I'm sorry, but we got to move on because we can't go back and change it. You can't do nothing about it. You can't redo it. So,
yeah, that's definitely better than the example I was gonna give.
Yeah, thank God.
I'm gonna let you have that one. And yeah, it's totally understandable with that call, man. It was so blatant. I believe anyone could have threw that flag out there. But I do probably see some new rules coming from this. I hope, just so teams don't end up in that same situation the Saints ended up in. But on the other hand, though, the Saints got the ball first in overtime. They could have won that game. So I'm done with it.
Yeah,
the Rams is at the Super Bowl.
It's one of them things too. Like you can't even sit there and say, well, they would have ran out the clock and he would have made the field goal. You don't even know if he would have made the field goal. You don't know if they would have scored.
The way kickers been kicking this year, boy.
Exactly. The way kickers
I don't
been
even want to talk about it.
You don't know what you don't know what would have happened. And then they were up 13-0 or something like that.
13-0.
So what happened in that? In that time, like. There's situations and opportunities everywhere where, you can't just call. You just can't look at that one call and say that was it because you don't know what would have happened. What would have even happened after that?
And playing down there in that dome, man, I gave the Saints the upper hand just because their fans in that dome is unlike no other situation unless you go to Bear Stadium. Soldier Field, you go there, then that environment is a whole nother crazy environment. But I would only compare that environment to what's going on down in the dome. And man, I really thought the Saints had that game. But blown call. We can say it lost them the game. We can say it didn't lose them the game. But either way, they lost the game. So here it is.
Hey,
go ahead, Billy.
No, I was just going to ask you, Chris. After week 10 or so, I think you guys had you guys were sitting at 6-3.
Yep.
You guys had a 2.5 game lead over everybody in that division. I think at that point the Cowboys gave y'all a little help and beat the Eagles. What were the expectations at that moment? We already 2.5 game lead over everybody. We're playing good. You really didn't lose to any really terrible teams in that run. What were the expectations at that point?
Man, it was, to me, it was the most weird feeling I think I've ever had in playing football in my whole life. We were 6-3. That's the best record we've had ever since I've been here. And I think the best record, since 2010 or something like that, I believe. But it was such a weird feeling. I think like with the fans, with everybody, like we were in such a good position, but it didn't feel like it. Like if you're winning games, like you feel good, like
Yep.
everybody's just on like cloud nine and stuff, and it wasn't like that. It was like everybody was waiting for it to go downhill, and then we got a broken leg, with Alex,
Yeah.
and then it was like, oh my God, that's what we were. It was almost like that's what we were waiting for. That's what everybody was waiting for. We were in such a good position, but they was like, this is way too good to be true. And it was like one thing happened, then another. We're in that Texans game after the injury. Throw the ball deep to Josh Doctson. Don't get the pass interference call. So now we're 6-4. And then, coach the guy. We go into I think the next game or 2 games after that, he breaks his leg, and it's like,
Yep.
okay, well, this is what we're used to around here. So, let's
And
go
you guys
again.
were still in prime position, even at the end, in week 16.
Yep.
If you guys had won that game, that week 17 matchup with the Eagles would have been way more important for you guys.
Yep. And it's one of them things, man. I don't know what it was. I don't know how all the guys like felt good. We were confident about what we were doing at that time. Like everything was flowing. Our defense was killing it. Like I think our defense is ranked like in the top 5 in a lot of categories and stuff like that.
Ranked 3 in run and rush defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've always been low on that. Like probably some of the worst on that since I've been here. And it was like everything was flowing, but it was like I know outside, everybody on the outside don't really matter at the end of the day, but it was just like when we're doing that good, we want everybody to be feeling good about it. Like it does something for all of us to for the fans, everybody on the outside to feel good with us as well. And it was just like, it was a weird feeling. And I hope like once we get this thing back going again, this coming season, that when we get back in a good position again, that it's not like that, and that we can just keep it going, keep that good momentum going, the positive vibes going, because these fans haven't had anything to cheer for in a long time, and we gotta find a way to change that, and that's what it really boils down to.
Yeah. So with all the injuries and stuff like that, what can we expect from the Washington Redskins come next season?
I think I know there's a lot of guys that's coming back, that's gonna be coming back healthy this year. We've added some. We're gonna be adding some more pieces. I think Reuben Foster is a guy. If he doesn't end up getting suspended or anything, I think he's a guy that's really gonna help us out. We've got some more. We've added to our staff, which I think they are some really good moves. Our biggest thing I think this year is just figuring out what to do. What we're gonna do at the quarterback position, whatever they decide to do, because we're not gonna have Alex. I don't think we're gonna have Alex at all this year. So we just got to figure that out. But if we end up going with a young guy, we got a lot of vet guys out there. We got one of the fastest, probably the fastest tight ends in the league at 35 years old, which is Vernon Davis, and then Jordan Reed, who's basically a receiver just playing tight end. And we got a lot of good weapons, some good receivers and stuff. And I think we're gonna add some more pieces there, and probably in the backfield as well. And I think if we can get this thing going and have the same mindset that we did last offseason, going into April, the vibe was different. And it showed when we started playing good that first half. Just the injuries and stuff happened, which we can't do anything about. But if we come in with that same attitude to just try to be the best out there and just grind this thing out, I think we're gonna be fine again and really put ourselves in a really great situation.
Yeah, I do believe that NFC East division.
It's
I hate the
always open.
Cowboys. I don't think that they've ever been good enough. Honestly, to me, Carson Wentz, I've always said that this guy is probably he won't be able to lead them there. I don't think he's that type of quarterback. And then you got the Giants. What are they going to do there? So I think
Yeah.
you guys are sitting in prime position again next year to be the leader of the pack. But let me ask you about the draft real quick. I know you have no say in who you guys draft, obviously. But where do you think you guys' biggest need at, or what would you like to see? Who would you like to see drafted in that first round?
I think that's. I think this year may be like the hardest to really decide on that, like what we're gonna do. But I think, given the issue with Alex being out, I think we're moving towards. I think moving towards a quarterback might be good. It might be necessary because we even had Colt broke his leg as well, so. I think he's still recovering from that as well, and we got to have another quarterback on the roster. I don't know if Josh Johnson what's going to happen with that situation, and if he's going to take the Alliance League because he was the first pick in the draft there. I think to be safe, I think we're going to go there, or we're going to go with our offensive skill position somewhere, probably at a receiver, just to get some more speed out there. And
Yeah.
if not there, maybe O-line, because we had guards go down, and
That whole old line was decimated, man.
Yeah, and you always need. It doesn't help to have more there all the time. At any point, it don't hurt to always have good depth at O-line. So I think, to me, those three really just helping our offense out is what it really comes down to. I think just pretty much getting the best players in that position at that position to help us, because we didn't do too well on offense this year, and we didn't have big plays really at all this year. We had a few with Paul Richardson, but he ended up getting hurt too. So, which he's a good speed guy, good route runner and stuff like that, but doesn't hurt for us to have speed and have some help out there on offense as well. So I think our first two picks, I believe, may go towards like trying to boost our offense pretty much.
Most definitely, because the end goal for every NFL team is, to make it to that big game,
right?
At the end of the year. With that being said, Chris, I hate to do this to you. I hate to put you on the spot, but you are on the Unpopular Opinion podcast. Who wins Super Bowl 53, the Rams or the Patriots?
Woo! I'm gonna tell you who I want to win. I want the Rams to win because Sean McVay is my guy, and I think he really deserves it. It was a bad call, but I think he deserves it, and I think he's gonna be there a couple more times. But it wouldn't hurt for him to go in being the youngest coach ever to beat the best coach ever. But I don't know how you bet against the Patriots. It's hard to bet against them. They're going to find a way. They found a way this whole time after not having a Patriot-like season. So I think they're going to find a way to pull it out. The Patriots are. So I'm going to have to go with them.
All right. Hey.
So I got a bold question before we get you out of here. How many touchdowns does Chris Thompson have in 2019?
I'm going with at least 10. I'm betting on myself high this year. I'm trying to get at least 10. I want to
10
get
touchdowns.
I get one. I want to get one every game. I know that's pushing it, but I think it's possible.
You heard it here first. Chris Thompson, 10 touchdowns next year. Hey, I want to thank you for coming on the Unpopular Opinion podcast. This was monumental for us here. So we want to thank you for taking your time out to be on the podcast today.
Oh yeah, big thank you
Appreciate
again,
it.
Chris. Man, you're such an awesome player, and now a friend of the show. We really appreciate it, brother. We wish you the best season come next year, and stay healthy, my friend.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
So that went very well, man. We want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. We want to thank Chris Thompson, Washington Redskins, once again for doing the Unpopular Opinion podcast with us. You know, it was fun. Bro, you want to take us up out of here, man?
Oh yeah. Man, I want to give a huge birthday shout out to my boy Deion Patterson, all of you out there in Kansas. Big welcome home to my buddy Chris Cruz, who just returned home safely from overseas. And as always, you guys stay blessed. Be kind to one another. I'm OG Ross signing off. Billy, I see you, baby.
Hey, man, I thank you for everything, bro. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Super Bowl picks coming up.